Hey guys! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I'm so grateful that you guys are listening, subscribing, and commenting on my channel. I really appreciate it. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about energy. Energy is one of those things that is my favorite topic in the world. I have many favorite topics, as you might be able to tell. But energy is one of those things I could talk about and feel out and think about all of the time. I reflect upon energy. A lot of my days are spent reflecting about energy and thinking about it, thinking about my energy. Where is my energy level at? What does my energy signify? What does other people's energy signify? How do I feel around other people's energy? How do I feel around other countries' energies or cities' energies or apartments' energies or malls' energies? I'm always thinking about energy and its significance in my life all the time, constantly, through the day, through the week, through the month. And one of the things that I've noticed about energy is that I feel, or I think about it as an imprint. You're leaving behind your energy as an imprint wherever you go. If we were advanced enough as a species, when we get to that point where we are highly conscious and we're able to see things that we're not able to see right now, I think we'll be able to see energy and the imprints that we leave behind as human beings or as sentient beings, right? I think of energy as a footpath or as an imprint or like as a wave that is left behind when you're walking through the world. So I think in the future, when we can actually observe energy being produced and being imprinted, we'll be actually able to watch a person walking in front of us, walking past us, leaving behind an imprint of his or her energy, or its energy. And the energy would look different depending on the person. If they're a sort of positive, happy, vibrant person, their energy is going to look different from a person who's a little bit down or depressed or negative in any shape or form. And you would be able to see that difference in the energy that they imprint. Now, of course, we don't actually need to see energy. We don't need to see it as clearly or tangibly like that in order to know that energy exists. You guys know if you're an INFJ or not, or if you're a human being, you can tell that you can feel energy instantaneously. No matter how young you are, no matter how immature you are, no matter how naive you are, you know that if you walk into a room and someone's just had a fight in that room, you can feel the energy imprint of that fight and of that negative emotion and of that anger or disappointment or bitterness, whatever it might be. That energy will have left an imprint. Even if those two people are not in the room anymore, you can walk into a room and tell that something negative has happened here before. I wanted to give an example of my apartment. I used to live in an apartment downtown, and then when I moved out of Toronto, I rented that apartment out to a tenant, and the tenant still messages me all the time saying, I don't know what it is about this place, but there is an energy imprint here. There's an energy to this place that calms me down, that makes me happy, that is a kind of energy that I've never experienced before. And she's always telling me this. And I've never asked her for those words. She always just gives them to me because she realizes that the energy in that space, in that apartment, is different from perhaps other places that she's lived in or other places she's visited. Now, this is really important because I started meditating in that space, and I did a lot of interesting spiritual work in that place, a lot of healing, a lot of interesting reflection, journaling. And I've spent a lot of time in that space because I was working from home. And I know that a lot of that energy that she's feeling is from all of the work that I did, all the spiritual work, all the meditation, the Wim Hof breathing, whatever it might be. There's so many things that I tried out in that apartment. And all that energy has been imprinted into that apartment in a way that I think is impregnable. I don't think it's possible to remove that energy unless you really try. I mean, obviously other energies are going to go on top of it, like layers of bricks, right? Other energies will go on top, but that energy, the base imprint, is forever going to be my energy. It's always going to be there. And that's how I think of energy. That's one of the reasons why sometimes you have to demolish a building, or you have to get rid of a building in order to get rid of that energy imprint, because there's just no way all of the negativity, all of the murders or deaths, or all the terrible stuff that has happened in certain buildings, there's no way for you to get rid of that energy. There's no way for you to get rid of that emotion or the energy imprint that's going to be there for the rest of eternity, imprinted and attached onto those buildings. That's one of the things that you might notice when you go to visit perhaps concentration camps or places with a lot of carnage. I remember when I went to Cambodia and I went to the places where Pol Pot, who was a dictator, did his terrible deeds. There were places where hundreds and thousands of people were killed or murdered, children were thrown against trees, things like that happened. And I went to the killing fields, and it was just, I can still remember how I started crying. I just started crying instantly. I went in and I wasn't even intending to cry. I didn't read anything that made me cry. I didn't do anything that made me cry. I just stood there. I felt the energy and I started crying. And I had to get out of that place because it was just too much for me. And that imprint, that negative imprint of all of those people, all of those sadness and negativity, it is there and it's going to be stuck there, and people are going to feel it for the rest of eternity because it's imprinted upon that space. Now why does it matter? Why does this energy imprint matter so much to me, and why am I talking about it? The reason for this is that, and you've probably heard this before, is that you are probably speaking or telling someone who you are, what you are like, what your energy is like, before you even talk to that person. Before you say a single word, I already know who you are, right? And not because I see the clothes that you're wearing and they're really cool, or I see the shoes you're wearing and they're really dirty, or I see your hair products, I see the hair products that you use, or the way you straighten your hair, or the way you curl your hair, and I really like it. That's not the point of it. It's part of it. Physical characteristics are obviously going to dictate what we think about a person, but most of it, I would say for me, 80 to 85% of it is based on energy. There might be a really awesome, beautiful person that I meet and everyone loves them and everyone just adores them. If their energy is off a little bit and I feel a little bit uncomfortable around them, there is no way I'm going to be friends with them, no matter what anyone else says and no matter what happens, no matter if I lose all of my friends because I'm not friends with this one person. It does not matter because their energy is off. And that's why it's really important to take care of your energy and to watch your energy as well. I'm constantly watching my energy levels and energy imprint itself. Of course, I'm always constantly making sure that my energy doesn't go below a certain level, because otherwise I'm going to burn myself out. I do a lot of creative work and I need to be at my peak in order to do all this work. And so I'm constantly watching to make sure I don't get too tired, that I'm taking care of myself, that I'm eating well, that I'm sleeping well, etc. Doing this video today, I actually woke up at 3 a.m. and I was wide awake. I mean, I got out of bed and I'm like, oh, it must be 7 a.m. It must be. I closed my curtains because otherwise there's too much light outside. And so I don't know if it's light or day outside unless I look at my phone. And I picked up my phone, but like, it must be 7 a.m. It must be time for me to wake up, or it must be 6 a.m., right? And I look at it and it's 3 a.m. Exactly on the dot, 3:00, right? And I think to myself, what? Why is it so early? And why am I so awake? And so I woke up this morning wide awake at 3 a.m. I tried to go back to sleep for a couple of hours, and I did, but still I was awake really early. And that's one of the things I don't like. I do that sometimes, maybe twice a week. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I won't be able to go back to sleep. It's all related to stress, obviously, stress and making sure that I take care of myself and constantly overthinking and stopping all that madness, anxiety in general. But I know that if I don't take care of myself, my energy levels, then I won't be able to do all the things that I do, all the cool things that I get to do with this life, right? But not only that, I'm always watching for my energy imprint, because we are, even if we're INFJs, or even if we're positive people, or even if we are the kind of people who are bright and shiny, there are going to be days where you notice yourself being a miserable, grumpy something, right? I don't want to swear. So you notice yourself being grumpy and you notice yourself being miserable, and you know that the energy trails or imprints that you're leaving behind are not that great. On those days, for me specifically, I make sure that I spend all of my time at home. If I can avoid being around other people and infecting them with my negativity, I don't want to do that to them, and I don't need to vent upon them. I don't need to complain to them. I don't need to give them this negativity. I want to keep it for myself and transform it or transmute it into positivity as I can by taking care of myself and reflecting and journaling, and then go out and meet people again. So as much as possible on those days, I will take care to be away from people as much as possible. Sometimes though, obviously you need to be around people because you need to be around people. You know, when I got news last year that my father got a heart attack, I instantaneously was like, oh shit, shit. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I have to go back home. I was in Chiang Mai at the time, I believe, yeah. And I got that call, or I got a message from my sister saying that my father, he was not well and he was in the hospital, and if you can come back home. And instantaneously, I was like, wow, I can't believe it. My father's getting old and things are getting to that point where, eventually they're going to leave me. And I went into a spiral of madness and depression and sadness. But then I thought to myself, all right, cool. All right, I'm going to book my ticket. And so I did. I booked a ticket right away, leaving the next day. And then I thought about all the different things I have to do before I have to leave, all the technical administrative stuff related to visas and packing and buying gifts for family, etc. And so I made a list of all that stuff, and then I looked for an event to go to where my friends would be present. And I knew that there was one coming up at 5 p.m. This, I think, happened around 10 a.m. or something. And so I did all the work that was necessary, and then I went to this event because I wanted to be around my friends. I didn't tell them that I was going through anything. I didn't tell them that I had some bad news about my father. I didn't say anything related to that, and I kept my energy as much as possible at a high level. They didn't even realize that until later I told them that this is what happened, and they're like, wow, I would have never known. But I wanted to be around people, and so I did. I went and I spent time around positive, bubbly people. They were having fun, and that bubbliness transferred over to me and left its imprint upon me, and I was able to transmute whatever I was feeling, whatever anxiety I was feeling over my father's condition, into something more positive. And that was a really great relief to me, because when I went to the plane and I entered, and I wasn't able to communicate with my family for 15, 16 hours while I was in the air, I felt all right. I was anxious, but I didn't feel like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I hope my father's still alive when I get back home. That's what was going on in my head when I first heard about the news. So that's what energy imprints and energy is all about, in my head at least. I think of it as one of the most important paradigms that we need to learn about. And I'm really excited to see what happens in the future, to see how auras can be imprinted, or how we can actually take photographs now of auras or energies. I think that's fascinating science, and I can't wait for it to be expanded more. If you guys have any questions about this topic or any other topics that I've done, I would love to hear from you guys. You can message me below, obviously by commenting, or you can email me. All my contact information is in the description below. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.